Thanks for tuning into Alive TV. This is The Pulse for Thursday, November 9th. Wedding bells are in the air here at Alive. We're celebrating with our very special wedding issue. If you're thinking about getting married, or even if you just like the open bar at other people's weddings, we've got you covered with money-saving ideas, etiquette tips, and lots of Bridezilla horror stories. Everyone loves those. Now, this is where things get weird. Just as we were working on our wedding issue this week, our own Brooke Williams was suddenly, surprisingly, and happily proposed to by her longtime boyfriend. Coincidence? I'll let you decide. Let's check in with Chris DeVille, who has more on this story from the Alive newsroom. Chris?
Thanks, Brian. I'm here with my Alive colleague, Brooke Williams, who happened to get engaged the same week that our wedding issue is going to press.
Very suspicious.
Yeah, so Brooke, tell me about how this came to be.
Well, that's a good question. I was completely surprised Sunday night at Lindy's in German Village, and had been so caught up in the wedding issues production that I had not seen the many clues that were around that this could be impending.
So, how long have you and your fiance Gabe been together?
Oh, I like the sound of that. A year and 4 months we've been dating, but we were best friends before that.
So, have you started planning yet?
Yes, we took about an hour it took me an hour and a half to stop crying. And then after that, then we immediately began planning. And I am just now in the third day realizing how arduous of a task this is going to be as I pore over my many wedding magazines and talk to my friends that have just gotten married. And more and more we're like, we really need to get on this.
I see. So, did reporting for the Alive's wedding issue prepare you at all to begin this whole planning process?
Yes, serendipitously it did. It actually helped me come up with a lot of ideas to cut costs without it looking janky. I don't know if I can say janky in Newsroom Confidential. And it will also help me come up with some creative ideas, I think, so it's not just a cookie cutter of the same thing. And it helped me make some good local contacts. So
Cool.
Hopefully that'll pay off.
You got a date yet?
Oh, I thought you meant a date to the wedding. I was like, yeah, I got one. I don't know. We're thinking no later than 6 months from now, so May 5th at the latest.
Great. Thanks a lot, Brooke, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, wine fans, you know what the third Thursday in November is. It's the international holiday of copious imbibing that marks the release of the Beaujolais Nouveau, the first pressing of the season in France. Le Chatelaine, the French cafe and bakery in Upper Arlington and Worthington, has its own tradition around the wine. They host a contest each year, a cook-off between students from Columbus State's culinary program. This year's winner was Ryan Fickert, who cooked up a hearty Mediterranean couscous with beef and lamb. Delicious. Ryan's dish will be served at a special Beaujolais Nouveau dinner on November 16th. I visited the cafe to get the details and watch the student chefs in action. Let's check in with me, live on hard drive from Le Chatelaine in Upper Arlington. We're here at Le Chatelaine, the French cafe and bakery in Upper Arlington, to celebrate the release of the Beaujolais Nouveau. It's a big tradition the third Thursday of November. Let's have a sip. All right, Ted, first I wanted to ask you if you could explain the tradition of the Beaujolais Nouveau in France.
It's a tradition that's been going around for a very, very long time. I don't know exactly the date, but it's tradition that it will predict the wine in France. Meaning, the Beaujolais is a very young wine. It's the first grape to be picked, and by the testing, by the flavor and everything is going on after that, they will predict the vendange, the season of the wine, all in France.
Now, a lot of people who may have the impression that French wine is too fancy for them or too expensive, that's really not the case with the Beaujolais Nouveau, is it?
No, Beaujolais is a region in France with some fancy wine and some table wine. Table wine is very inexpensive, and it's most common in every family in France, But now French wine, we can find very cheap French wine, really good. Of course, people think French wine, but it's not the case. Beaujolais is a very, very inexpensive wine and very good, very fruity, and fun to drink with. Friends.
And you can click to columbusalive.com for details on the special dinner and for all your weekend planning needs. That's it for now. Thanks for watching The Pulse. We'll see you back here tomorrow.